They say the new Centurion RI series boat has the longest surf wave of any Wakesurf boat ever built. Today, we're going to find out if that's true. What's up, guys? This is Mitch from Board Co. We are down here at Sand Hollow State Park in southern Utah, and we are kind of doing a repeat of a video that we did a few years ago where we showed off a RI 237 and how far back you could surf behind that boat. Well, things have changed, the boats have changed a little bit, and the new Centurion RI series takes it to a different level as far as the surf wave and what the boat can actually produce. And so we're down here to go and do the same thing we essentially did a couple years ago. That is, take this tape measure, run it out, and see how far back you can surf behind this new Centurion RI. Now, a couple caveats that we want to hit before we jump back behind the boat. First off, we don't have the boat set up the way that we normally do. Normally, we're running somewhere around 11.5 to 12 miles an hour. And what you're going to see in this video, we're running right about 14 miles an hour. The reason why is because we're trying to stretch the surf wave out as long as we possibly can. So normally you're not necessarily needing to surf 40 feet behind the boat, so we're not going to run at 14 miles an hour. Instead, you're wanting to have a little bit more power, maybe a little bit more adjustability to the face, and so you're going to slow it down a little bit. That being said, most of the time people are surfing behind surf boats at 10.5, maybe up to 11 miles an hour. The fact that you can surf behind an RI 245 with stock ballast at 12.5 miles an hour means you have so much more surfable area than what you've seen in the past. So let's jump back there. Tyler's gonna get back and surf behind the boat, and we're gonna see what this boat can do, and then we'll jump back here and talk a little bit about it. That's 40 right there. 41, 42. And you see, he's falling out of the way, but he is still staying in. Guys, Tyler just got back in after surfing behind the furthest back I've ever seen somebody get behind a wave.
Yeah,
so
that's
Tyler,
the furthest back I've ever been.
Yeah. So Tyler, so one of the things that's very unique and that we talk about with the new OptiV 2.0 hull that's on the new Centurion RI and FI series boats is the way that the hull displaces water. It sits deeper in the water naturally and doesn't use as much of the plates, which means that it carries more of the power and more of the push further back on the wave. So Tyler, tell us a little bit about it. I mean, you were back, you know, however you measured, it doesn't really matter. You were at least 35 feet behind the boat.
Yeah.
How was that power and that when you were that far back even?
Honestly, the push is still there. That's not the limiting factor. I mean, again, however far you want to measure, 35 feet back, there's still curl to the wave. That's what's pushing you out of the wave. It's not the push. You have all the push in the world back there, which is pretty crazy, again, being that far back, that there's still a surfable pocket. It's the actual barrel of the wave that's pushing you out.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before at the beginning, you're not going to probably want to set up a wave so that you can surf 40 feet behind the boat. I mean, maybe you want to do it for fun, but it's not going to be something you do on a daily basis when you're getting out and surfing behind this boat. What you are going to do, though, is you're probably going to set it up so you're surfing 30 feet behind the boat. And, I mean, that's another 10 feet more than what you get behind basically any other towboat. So just imagine what you get with 10 additional feet to work with behind the boat. And, well, Tyler, I guess, to that point, what do you do with that extra space for building speed and doing other things and doing things of that nature?
That just kind of really plays into the airs. Obviously, the more speed you can generate up the face of the wave onto the lip, the higher or more air you can get, the more tricks you can do. I mean, even 360s, you want to get some sort of build up to it. Again, you don't need that long, but at least having that extra length will help you improve essentially almost all of your tricks.
That's kind of the key, is if you have the space to work with, you have the ability to do 360s easier, the ability to learn and do airs easier, just even things like bottom turns or slashing on the wave. If you have that extra space, it allows you to build speed, and also it allows you to be able to have a spot to have the wave catch you if you mess up. If you don't finish your trick perfectly, or if you come around a little slower on a 360, most of the time you're out of the surf wave. When you have a pocket that's really long, the wave is going to catch it and you'll be able to stay back in it. So that really helps a ton. So that's one of the big parts that we wanted to talk about and look at, is just how much power there is in the surf wave, not just in the 3 to 5 feet at the front of the wave like you get behind most surf boats, but that same power band exists through the entire spectrum of the wave. In fact, you basically have full power on this new Centurion wave right up until the wave is crashing over the top of your board. And that's what you can see with Tyler. When he was back on the back, the white water is crashing on the front of his board, and then all of a sudden it's like it just sucks you back out. But it's that white water breaking. It's not the push of the wave disappearing.
Correct. The lip is the same kind of firmness through the entire wave. It's not, the closer you get to the swim deck, the firmer the lip. The lip is the exact same firmness the entire wave. Again, 35 feet back, it's the exact same as you were 10 feet off the swim deck.
Yeah. Now, the question that you probably are asking now is why? Why does the Centurion have the power spectrum that goes from the very front of the wave to the very back, and it doesn't lose push like every other surf boat? The answer to that is the hull design. The Centurion Opti-V hull is the only hull that was specifically designed to wake surf. Now what that means is that the hull itself has more V to it, and it's going to naturally part the water to one side or to the other side. And then you have plates that are at the back of the boat, but their goal isn't to crab and shift and move one side of the boat from side to side like this. Instead, it's designed to just deflect the water just a little bit. What happens then is you don't have water that's shooting out to the sides, and you don't have this essentially stern roller that's existing behind the boat that you're then shaping and moving, which is what you get behind other surf boats. Instead, you have a wave that's formed by the hull, and more of the water is propelled back behind the boat instead of to the sides. This is one of the reasons why you also see on that surf wave, the wave comes out back behind the boat and then curls back a little bit, instead of like a lot of surf boats where it fans way out horizontally to the side. That's where you have so much more surfable area, and not just more surfable area, but more functional surfable area. In other words, the wave isn't just longer so you have more space that you can kind of move around. It's built in such a way that you can generate speed down the line like you can on an ocean wave. And for guys that are out in the ocean doing tricks and learning and carving and doing things of that nature on big ocean breaks.
It's honestly probably the closest thing you'll get to an ocean style wave. Again, kind of getting down the line and having pushed the entire length of the wave. It's the closest thing I can think of.
Yeah. So once again, the wave is not just necessarily the longest surf wave in the world. The key is it's got the most mass of any surf wave that exists behind any other surf boat. That mass can be shaped however you want. You can stretch it out and make it really long like what we just did, or you can shorten it up a little bit and have a wave that's even bigger and taller and has more power to it, or you can mellow it out a little bit and make it more round and gradual. You really can customize the shape of the surf wave however you like, and that's one of the key elements. So it's not just the longest surf wave, it can be essentially any surf wave that you want. So once again, thanks to Tyler for getting out here and ripping on the surfboard and showing us what it can do. Thanks for spending some time with us going and looking at the new RI-245. By the way, we're in an RI-245, and RI-265 with a little longer running surface is actually going to throw a slightly longer wave. Yeah. I can't even imagine what that's like if we set it up this way. And an RI-230 is a little bit shorter. But this same hull design and the same surf wave is what you can expect to get behind any of the Centurion boats, and for that matter, honestly, any of the new Supreme models that have the new EZV hull system. So they have the same type of functionality. It's going to throw a similar type of surf wave. Maybe not quite as long as the RI, but it's going to be really, really close. It's just really good all across the board, and that's what you get when you get a surf boat that's specifically designed for surfing instead of a wakeboard boat that's got some attachments on it to make it so it can surf better. So thanks for spending some time with us. We hope this video has been helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube so you can get more information such as the videos we put out here, as well as let us know if there's any information you'd like us to cover or any questions you may have. We're happy to help. Check out more at boardco.com, and we'll see you later.